I got 9:01. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Next is approval of today's agenda.
Lance, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is approval of minutes of 10/16/2024.
Make a motion to approve the October 16th, 2024 minutes.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is approval of claims for payment of 10/23/2024.
Lance, I make a motion to approve the claims for payment dated October 23rd, 24.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is consideration to approve the request of funding from lost money not to exceed $8,000 for market feasibility study for the First Children's Finance proposal. I don't know who wants to talk on that one.
Yeah.
All three of us are going to talk. So would you like us to do that
Yes.
now? Okay. Are you going to take? Oh, okay. So.
You want to come in?
Oh, you want me to? I wasn't prepared. No, actually. Good morning. I know all three of you very well. My name is Carrie Kuby and I serve as the director for the Iowa River Valley Early Childhood Area Board, of which you used to be a member. So that's positive. I'm here today on behalf of the steering committee aimed at expanding childcare and early learning in one of Hardin County's most treasured assets, which is the Calkins Nature Center. In July of 2024, I received a phone call from one Great West Weiss who said, "Hey, Carrie, I want to build childcare. I want to expand childcare." So when West Weiss calls, you listen, right? So we put together a group of dedicated individuals and we began meeting to discuss this possibility of expanding childcare at Calkins Nature Center. In 2018, I had started a task force aimed at building childcare in Hardin County, but then as you know, COVID happened and everything just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. However, our board continued to try and support childcare providers through quality improvement incentives, training, and just different referral bonuses, but we know that it's still not enough, that we are not meeting the needs of childcare in Hardin County, and that's everybody that you represent. So just to put it in perspective for you, there are approximately 945 kids aged 0 to 5 in Hardin County and 655 children aged 6 to 9 who need care. That's how many kids we have in our county that would need care if they were outside of school or whatnot. Our current capacity to serve those through a child development home center or Department of Ed operated preschool is 684. So if that means about 616 children do not have care or maybe in an unregulated care by friends or family or what we call a child care center, that's our child care home that's operating, quote, under the radar. And so we know when that happens that there are less eyes on those children. We know that child abuse is more likely to happen. So I even heard once where they say that expanding childcare is preventing child abuse because you're putting children in a safe environment where they can grow and learn. An estimated 67% of households in Hardin County have both parents working outside the home where those kids need care. Our board just recently, yesterday, approved a new community needs assessment, and 6 of 8 community service groups listed childcare as one of their top 3 priorities in Hardin County. So all of your constituents are telling you that we need more childcare and we need expanded childcare. Community feedback also tells us that employees are traveling more than 10 miles outside of their home or their employment to find childcare that's equitable, that's quality childcare. In some cases, we're hearing from people that they have changed jobs because they don't have childcare in Hardin County. They don't have childcare that they can access. So childcare really becomes a good solution for growing the economy in Hardin County. And we really need to start looking at this idea of expanding childcare with a big lens here. So I'm here today to show strong support for the Calkins Nature Early Learning Center. We've approached this with the idea that every day will feel like a field trip for these kids. We have even gone so as far as to start touring early learning centers that would be modeled, that this Calkins Child Care Center would be modeled after. So we are moving forward, but we really would sincerely appreciate your support on this as well, and the lost funding. So I will let Deb or whoever, any questions for me, I should ask.
No, you covered a lot.
Yeah. and there's two handouts. One is just this is actually live childcare data. It's updated every month. And then the other one I provided for you is just a list of homes and centers that are in Hardin County. And I would note that in like where Hawkins is, there's literally like 2 to 3 registered home providers, 1 child care center and 1 income-based child care center. It's not it. So I just wanted you to see that information. So thank you for your time.
Can you leave a copy of that?
Yeah, and
Get a copy.
yeah.
You want to do it?
If you want.
All right, thank you.
So Carrie covered a lot of valuable data and information that kind of gives you a very good snapshot of the situation with childcare in the county. And childcare is one of those things that kind of waxes and wanes, you know. It's not always a constant, and it's a service industry that is always changing, and the needs and the demands are always changing. But I think that our county needs to position ourselves to be very proactive with an approach for childcare, especially in the northern half of the county that is the largest employer and has, you know, a lot of workforce attraction. And if we're going to meet those needs of a skilled workforce, we need to be competitive as far as providing those services. Education's a component where if people are or a business are looking to move to your community, healthcare and childcare, those are paramount, especially with young families. The other thing is that we need to match our energy and our competitiveness with what the community of Iowa Falls is doing today. And they do have a very robust plan to expand their housing industry. So if we're going to be willingly be able to be competitive and be out in that market to attract young families and people, then we need to be proactive with a quality service that's dedicated and it is a constant service in our community. So just going back a little bit about funding, we're here today to ask you for some lost funds, but we've also done our hard work and heavy lifting to not have the county be the ones that would fund 100% of this. We've actually raised over $30,000. $20,000 was a Rural Empower Iowa grant, and the other 10,000, the other 7, let's see, 30, okay, 20, 10, okay, yeah. The other 10 was raised locally. So through businesses, Calkins Nature Center, Iowa Falls Area Development Group, some of those individuals specifically have also leveraged their dollars to help us with this study and help match those needs. So I want you to know that, you know, we have done that heavy lifting. There are people in leadership that are behind that effort. So that is, you know, very, very helpful to, you know, us moving forward. The other thing when we're looking at this funding and working with First Children's Finance is who we would like to work with, and they have given us a proposal, and we will actually, you do have the proposal in your packets today. You will have a contract next week, depending on your approval of the additional funding today. Those proposals and contracts include a business plan, a marketing plan, and a finance plan as well. So they're a state-of-the-art facility industry in the state of Iowa that's well respected for their knowledge and their support in child care services. And we're pleased with what they've given us so far, and we're anxious to work with them starting in November. So I ask for your support in the funding, and we're anxiously, like I say, waiting to move forward. Wes?
So hang on a second, Deb.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I know I ask you a lot of questions, but I think the public does too. So the feasibility study gets us where? This $8,000 you're asking for gets a feasibility study that turns around and offers more options for grant money and stuff to help multiply this dollar amount.
They would help us with a finance plan. They would help us with a business plan and a marketing plan based on the data that that we're going to receive in this targeted study.
Okay.
Okay,
And-
so, yeah,
And by having a feasibility study, it also opens us up to more opportunities, right?
correct,
Yes,
correct,
that's what I'm getting at. It
Right.
just doesn't stop with this. We have to have this first.
correct,
Yeah.
correct, yep. Yep, and and like I say, until we pull the families, and our other resources and our other partners in the community, which would be business and industry and families in the school district and those children, we don't know where we stand. And that's what we need to know, before we can move forward.
Right.
So Wes will.
One important note about that feasibility study is that that's not something that just we can use. There could be other groups that can use that same information. And there could be other startups with childcare as well. So it's something that not only our group can use, but other groups can use as well. And I just want to add, Erie and Deb have done a great job, but trying to keep the conservation department relevant, addressing public needs and being an important part of the community is why we kind of brainstormed this idea. If you've ever had kids or grandkids come out to Calkins, the day camps fill in within one day. Our after school programs fill in usually within hours. So we've got everything out there. It's kind of an easy transition to do something like this. We've got trails, we've got all the supplies, the animals are out there. I mean, they could greet a raccoon every morning if they wanted to. I mean, it's an easy fit and it's kind of unique. I think it's something that would be a unique feature for the county to have something like this. It has been done in other parts of the country. We've kind of done our research and then we've actually toured different facilities. We want to try to get into Sukup and see what Sukup has done because they're doing a really robust daycare center for their workers. So yeah, I think it's just a way to keep Calkins relevant and keep it an important part of the community, address community needs. It's another thing our department can do to address those needs.
Thanks,
Thanks, Wes.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions?
Lance, I'd make a motion to approve the request for funding from the local option sales tax fund, not to exceed $8,000 for the market feasibility study with First Children's Finance.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? That'd be out of the economic development and community betterment part.
Portion, yeah.
Yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is consideration to approve community betterment match grant application for precision farm management.
Lance, I'd make a motion to approve the community betterment match grant application for precision farm management.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, so this application is from Kinsey Aldinger for their business at 712 Washington Avenue in Iowa Falls. It'll be for exterior wall signage.
Any other discussion?
This is that $500 one.
Correct.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is consideration to approve the revision of the quitclaim deed for Busy Way Farms and Keith Helbig. This is the quitclaim deed we did last week. Lori, did you have something on here? Taylor mentioned it.
Yeah, I had to redo them because he put the wrong exemption for the quitclaim deeds. They needed, on exemption 6, they needed a declaration of value for both deeds. So we decided to change it to a basic governmental signage on that. So we just changed the exemption.
Okay.
Basically,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the revision of the quitclaim deeds for Busy Way Farms and Keith Helbig.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? To me, it's always kind of weird to do a quitclaim deed when we're deeding their own ground back to them, but I get it for the paperwork. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is consideration to approve utility permit UT 2427 for Midland Power.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Taylor made a comment on this one. I believe it was this one. He said the utility permit was up there by NRP.
Right.
So if people see flags up there, it's for underground, nothing's happening at the.
Just north of Highway 20.
Right. You just wanted to point that one out.
There's a map on here too.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next I have is consideration for resignation of Brian Butler.
Lance, I'd make a motion to approve the resignation of Brian Butler, Kara Butler, Kristen Hodges, and Tom Borer from the Board of Health.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No discussion? Okay.
Don't interrupt again, please.
Sure. I won't. I've signed up for public comment.
That's fine.
I'll save it till then.
That's fine. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is consideration to appointment of the Board of Health.
Lance, I would make a motion to appoint Aaron Budwig to replace Kara Butler on the Hardin County Board of Health.
I will second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is change of status, Sheriff's Office.
I'll make a motion to approve the change of status for Lacey Jenkins effective 10/16/24. This is a discharge from permanent part-time.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the change of status for Tyler Swenson effective 10/21/24. It's a pay increase. It's an anniversary date on his union contract, so it's raised for that to $33.63 an hour.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Other business. Caucus Nature Center, Hardin County Child Care, we talked about that. Let's see. Daryl, I had you for correction.
Yeah, I can. It's more for the public's benefit, but the minutes from October 9th were approved on the 16th. And it was discovered that there were two Scrivener errors. It referenced October 2nd rather than October 9th. And so when that was brought to my attention, I just told Lance to strike October 2nd and write October 9th and then initial that. So there will be some scratching out and some handwritten changes. I just wanted the public to be aware that I've looked at that and thought that was the appropriate way to handle it.
Good.
Thank you.
Any other business? Public comments? Really?
Sorry.
Oh, Donna, I'm sorry.
I read the article about the Board of Supervisor and Board of Health meeting. And there seemed to be a lot of talk about the 2080 in agreement and not knowing it had expired. I have said to you several times that if you expect congratulations and feel goods on things that go well, then you also need to be willing to accept the blame when things end poorly. After all, the buck stops with you three in this county. It would seem to me that there was a failure to check the 2080 before you made your decision on Jessica Sheridan. One of you should have read it. One of you should have known it expired. One of you should have talked to Jessica first if there was a problem after giving her a great review just a couple of months before. Simply telling the Board of Health that it is illegal to discuss performance is not true. You could have gone into a short closed session to do so, or if it was about septic tank problems, simply turn it over to the Board of Health. One more thing on that, Amanda Winters as the interim environmental health person should be considered a conflict of interest since she and her husband own a septic tank company. About the Calkins Center, Hardin County is a big child care desert, and it's good that you're backing a study for a child care center there. However, I have heard from multiple people of talk about closing Calkins because of funding. Such talk is not hard to believe. We've heard it stated a few times that the county is out of money and can't fund this or that. Region 6, that helps low-income people and seniors with repairing their roofs, their houses, etc., being one of them. Don't think that this past Social Security increase is helping seniors. For myself, the 2.5% increase for 2025, combined with the increase in Medicare and prescription and supplemental insurance, will leave me with $35 less per month than I had this year. That is a funding problem. County funding problems should not include closing Calkins Nature Area, which would be an extreme detriment to this county. The museum, the amphitheater, the hiking trail, the wildlife exhibit, not forgetting social events that go out there. These are only part of everything that happens there. Even this weekend, there's a Halloween celebration that should bring 1,000 people if last year is any example. Talk of closing the Calkins Center should never be part of any funding discussion because that place is too important to this county. And speaking of funding discussions, people should be reminded that the Board of Supervisors have voted for themselves and a few other elected officials pay raises of 6% in 2023 and 10% in 2024, even when you knew that state funding was going to amount to less this year. And since you have filled the compensation board with people that you think will give you what you want and place no one on the board to speak for the taxpayers, maybe in the future, those pay raises should be voted on by the taxpayers instead of the people that get them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Julie.
So, Daryl, did you find out if it was legal to have Annette Sweeney on the board of review and have 3 members of a family all on boards of commissions? Did you find out about having Annette Sweeney on the board of review?
I've done, since last Wednesday, I have not looked into that, but I don't think there is a problem with it.
Oh, but please check if you could find out by next Wednesday, that'd be great. Thanks. So here we are, we have 4 members of oh, they should put that camera on so people can get your faces and reactions to things, because sometimes body language and stuff means a lot. But anyway, So we have 4 members of the 6-member Board of Health who resigned. How often does that happen? I mean, come on. There's a reason for that. And hopefully citizens can figure it out and just say, somebody screwed up big time. You guys are looking worse and worse by the week. Appearance of lack of ethics, lack of transparency, no respect for the opinion of citizens in this county. Seemingly poor decisions made apparently without question, without considering long-term consequences. Yeah, it's just, I can't hardly believe it. Your arrogance is appalling. I don't know, lack of self-reflection, is that, do you ever sit there some time in the evening and go like, oh geez, what's gonna happen now? Did I make the right decision? Well, I don't think you gave it much thought this time. I want people to, you guys need to keep in mind, the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray, or give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves, because it seems to be what's happening. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
I'll reserve my comments.
Anybody else? Okay. Mayor, I could ask for adjournment or recess.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries for adjournment.